Big ET Now exclusive. We hear from our sources that Cyrus Mistry is not interested in being Tata Sons Executive Chairman. Big news, especially coming in on the heels of that verdict, from the courts. Nayantara Rai joins us with this. Nayantara?
Thanks a lot for that. That's a big story breaking here on ET Now that, you did see the Tata stocks take a knock post the NCLAT verdict simply because the future seems so uncertain. But we've been able to ascertain, and we've been speaking to high-level sources, that Cyrus Mistry is not keen on being the executive chairman of Tata Sons. In fact, this is a request and a prayer that he abandoned back in the NCLT in writing and under Article 24 back in 2016. So from the market's perspective, don't expect any forward movement on this front, and that brings about certain certainty. The next question, when you go beyond the headline of Cyrus Mistry being reinstated as executive chairman, how big a win was it for him and the Shapoorji Pallonji group at the NCLAT? A deep dive, a deep reading into the verdict seems as if it's not as victorious, the group, as it was being made out to be. And I'll tell you why. One of the big prayers for Cyrus Mistry and Shapoorji Pallonji has been that we have an 18% stake in Tata Sons, and therefore we must have corresponding shareholding. But guess what? Cyrus Mistry is being reinstated by the NCLAT as a director on the board only for the balance tenure. That is 5 months. He had 5 months left before being terminated, before being fired. So was it really a big win for him? Because he doesn't get nominee directorship. He doesn't get permanent directorship corresponding with that 18% shareholding. So that's point number one. The second point, and I've been told is that neither Tata Sons, neither any of the Tata Group companies have done any forward movement on reinstating Cyrus Mistry as a director. It would only seem logical that they're going to first try and appeal against the NCLAT to try and get some relief. So much so that there has been zero contact, in fact, between the Cyrus Mistry camp as well as the Tata camp. I'm also being told by my sources that as we speak, the Cyrus Mistry camp is now also analyzing the verdict. It's hitting home now to both camps that the directorship is only for 5 months. So what next? Are we going to see a legal pursuance by Cyrus Mistry to get what he believes is his rightful place in the boardroom? That's something that we're going to have to watch out for. I believe Mohit Saraf is joining us on the phone line from NLL. Hi Mohit, Nayantara Rai here. Happy holidays to you. A deep dive into the verdict, and it seems as if it may not be the big win as has been initially thought of. Yes, he was reinstated as executive chairman, but sources telling me he's not interested in that. He had rejected that back in 2016 as well. But if I was to also see the directorship and a big ask for Cyrus Mistry, max case, he gets only 5 months.
I'm sure Cyrus Mistry camp must have looked at the verdict and realized that there are a lot of unanswered questions in the law. And the Supreme Court to uphold this verdict would virtually imply changing the Companies Act, and therefore they would probably appreciate that there are a lot of challenges. And again, the directorship is actually even if today you reinstate somebody as a director, the shareholder meeting can remove them immediately. So really, at the end of the day, I'm sure they must be realizing the chairmanship, again, is almost like really non-starter in this whole story, because really you are taking away the right of the board and taking away the right of the shareholders. And therefore, for Cyrus Mistry to close this entire thing on a high moral grounds and say that his position was supported by NCLAT and he's not pressurizing the group to reinstate would be very important. But I think from his perspective, more important will be if he's able to try to somehow get the company to be a private company, because some of his rights as a shareholder get enhanced. But again, there also the Companies Act does not support him, and the company has followed the entire process. That is something where he can still have some argument. And that's the reason I would think about it, that the Cyrus Mistry camp will be very, very reluctant, or could be reluctant, to reinstate him as a director or reinstate him as a chairman. And more importantly, as a director, actually, Tata Sons is one issue. But I think if you look at all the other companies, the listed companies, they have followed the process. So therefore, forcing them to reinstate is also very difficult. And therefore, I would expect the team to go slow because of the legal issue and because of the limitation and because of, I'm sure they must have understood it, that on the chairmanship, even Cyrus Mistry in his petition never wanted to be reinstated, and NCLAT has gone way beyond what he asked for. So I am sure it must be sinking after the initial triumph, and they may be thinking about it, what to do next, and they probably will. Maybe the best thing will be, from a shareholder's value, is the two camps sit together and find an amicable solution and work things around.
I also have HP Ranina with us. Mohit, hang in there. Mr. Ranina, the story we're breaking is that Cyrus Mistry is not keen to be executive chairman at Tata Sons. In fact, he had given this in writing under Section 24 back in December 2016 to the courts as well. But from the market's perspective, this was uncertainty, so we're clarifying that for the participants, that he's not going to be pursuing this. But when you go into the verdict, and what we were talking to Mohit about, after that initial headline, that big headline of Cyrus Mistry being reinstated as the executive chairman, has he indeed turned out to be victorious? He and the SP group have an 18% stake in Tata Sons. They don't have a corresponding board representation. The NCLAT doesn't provide that. The verdict talks about giving Cyrus Mistry directorship for the balance of his tenure. That is what was left after he got fired. That was 5 months. What do you make of that?
Well, as far as the chairmanship of Tata Sons is concerned, what the NCLAT has said is that his removal was illegal, and therefore the order is only consequential. Because if the removal was illegal on 24th of October 2016 by the Tata Sons board, as the removal was done without following the procedure provided in the articles of Tata Sons as well as under the law, then it logically follows that he has to be reinstated as the executive chairman of Tata Sons. To that extent, the order seems to be logical, because if a removal is illegal, then obviously all consequences follow, assuming it was illegal, and the Supreme Court upholds it that it is illegal. So if it's illegal, then all consequences must follow. So it's only a consequential order to reinstate him. As far as the other public limited companies are concerned, I agree with Mohit that he was removed by due process under the Companies Act. He was given an opportunity also of being heard by the shareholders before the removal. And therefore, to that extent, the order of NCLAT seems to be, very controversial, because you cannot overrule shareholders, processes which have been made under the Companies Act. And therefore, if there's nothing illegal as far as those companies are concerned. And I think, rightly said, I don't think Cyrus Mistry is really keen on getting onto these boards. In any case, if at all, he's been there for 5 months, because as you rightly said, it's only up to the tenure as if he had not been removed. So only 5 months remain. It's not worth the effort. So I think that question will not arise at all about the other companies. And that may be made clear before the Supreme Court, whereas and when this matter is being heard. So the only issue is about the executive chairmanship of Tata Sons. And there again, if Cyrus Mistry says that, look, I'm not interested, I think Chandrasekharan is doing a good job, and let him continue, then I think the matter will be resolved. So personally, I think these issues will be sorted out in due course. And both sides should come out as winners. And that's how it should be, in the interest of the Tata goodwill, the Tata value, and the Tata brand name.
We are being told there has been zero contact between the Tata camp as well as the Cyrus Mistry camp. Remember, the Supreme Court is on vacation till January 6th. Let's see when it is that either side goes to the Supreme Court with their appeals ready. So let's see how this one pans out. But gentlemen, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us here for this big ET Now exclusive.